aspects of phenomena called profound illumination. At that very time, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, was looking perfectly at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, perfectly looking at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, how should a child of the lineage train who wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke, and the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, replied to the Venerable Shariputra as follows. Shariputra, whichever son or daughter of the lineage wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look perfectly like this, subsequently looking perfectly and correctly at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors in consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are empty without characteristics. That is, they are not produced and do not cease. They have no defilement and no separation from defilement. They have no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness. There is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visible form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no mental phenomenon. There is no I element and so forth up to no mind element, up to no element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no cessation of ignorance and so forth up to no aging and death and no cessation of aging and death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation and no path, no exalted wisdom, no attainment and also no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide in the perfection of wisdom, and because their minds have no obstructions, they have no fear. Passing utterly beyond error, they attain the final state beyond sorrow. All the Buddhas who reside in the three times by relying upon the perfection of wisdom become manifest and complete Buddhas in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the equal to the unequaled mantra, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, since it is not false, should be known as the truth. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Tayata, gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisoha. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, a great being, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that concentration and said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, well said, O child of the lineage, so it is. The profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced exactly as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Shariputra, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, and the entire assembly, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, demigods, Gandharvas, and others, were filled with admiration and highly praised what had been spoken by the Blessed One. Saji perki jushing metod Ki so. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami.
Sanje, Chedon, Zoju, Chodon, La, Zhangzhu, Bado, Dali, Gyatsu, Dali, Cheche, Gibe, Zonam, Ge, Lola, Penje, Sanje, Zhubo, Sanje, Chedon, Zoju, Chodon, La, Zhangzhu, Bado, Dali, Gyatsu, Dali, Cheche, Gibe, Zonam, Ge, Lola, Penje, Sanje, Sanje, Chodon, Zoju, Chodon, La, Zhangzhu, Bado, Dali, Dagi Cheche Gibe Sonam Ge, Lola Penje Sanje Zhuwa. Hadang Lami Midam Miem Ji Ombo Dang Ji Jiang La So Xu Ye Xiu La Jia Wa Jia Wa Nam Sanje Songpa Da Du Xi Xin Di Wei Ju Yu De Da Ju Ji Tan Bei Xun Ye Xin Yin Di Ji Xie Nam Bai Nam Mo Lai Yi Ji Nam Feng Dan Du Xin Ji Du Gong Da Nam Mi Yi Ji Nam Dang Zhuwa Hun Ji Dan Nam Ji Zang Bu Tam Jie Ji Du Dagi Xue Dian Tu 한개 수쟁에 손에 따와 탐제 방배지 탐배 준에 되게 보담되라 차제로 오다데 드링 안 주대 아니지 가시고 그래 보스턴이야 아니 가시고 그러다 kurukulla 최저리야 아니 지금 좀체 안들이 다 다가 최저기 기시라래 아니 소미즈레 아니 가난주 다 프리빈다 아니 지비게 공부지도 세페 슈샤 지금 뒤인도 현 상물로 아니 제발 미세 가부충 아니 상물로 미세 참지슈인스.
And so today, everybody from Boston and from the Kurukulla Center gathered together. The Geshe-la and all the members and all the Tibetan brothers and sisters who came here. Many of you came here. I'm very happy to see you all, and I would like to send my greetings to all of you.
Geshe-la, 사실 Geshe-la today. 아니 지금 님은 오신 버체 안 그런 게 아주 그래 다 로다고 또 대한 토디 여러 제가 뒤인데 다케는 유지미지 제만 비게 용토는 야고도 아니 양내 양도 또 슬라체 아니 다 탈로도 세 캐나다다 뉴욕 저기 두주시도 그것도 안테다 다든 다네도 델레토 총소스.
And I've known Geshe Tinle from long time before, and we have almost met every year. And Geshe always asks me if it would be very nice if I can come, if I can definitely come to the Kurukulla Center. And at this time here, when I happened to go to Canada, New York, and at the same time, and then I made my trip here possible also.
아니 하고도 다다른데 지금 어디 레벨 아주 산에 레벨 레벨 인상 한다 대를 뛰는 최저리야다 도시 천지체 도시 배터리 도시 총어래 제단 뒤인도 전에 아니 연대시 중에 토네 파 지금 아주래 마슈에체 도시스.
And at this time, when I happened to come to this area, and I made my way to the center, and to make the Dharma connection with the center, I was requested to give teaching on the foundation of all good qualities.
제가 뒤인도 전에다 인도시 중에 아니 지금 튀주다 도두시 마도 쉐이스.
And I'm going to briefly explain the lineage of this teaching that was passed down through.
아니 윤대 시주마 됐다 지비게 가시고 그래 소모보디 아니 제 종가바 전부 장본은 종가바 전부도 차되기 어렸어 다른 신기 비기 윤대 시주미 죄제디 아니 지비게 장주 남기든데 아니 지비게 내 용수 뒤딩이 어디 지비게 기우숨이 아니 지비게 가시고 그래 냠랭기 림베 아니 지비게 차상을 던딩이 아니 지비게 도두지 돈에 어디 도차되기 어렸을 때 인도 아니 송 가장을 치러치 못한 아니 야고 어렸어
And the author of this teaching is Lama Tsongkhapa, and the subject matter, is the great stages of the path to enlightenment, same as that, and it includes all the important points of the whole lam-rim, or the gradual path to enlightenment, and it briefly explains all the practices of the three scopes or the three capable beings, and so therefore this teaching carries a great blessing.
어떠세? 다들 가시오래. 다 언제지? 다 인내 시기면 죄제디 줄람기든 배 죄제 내 뒤에 봐. 뒤에서 뒤에. 다들 인도잖아요. 다 아니 취준디 공사 연구원 경험 탐색진지 서버친 부분들네 아니 또 스톱제 톱되고 어떻게 있어?
And so the subject matter of this teaching, the foundation of our good quality, is the gradual path to enlightenment, and the lineage, or the continuation of the teaching from whom I received this teaching is from His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama.
다른다 가시오래. 많은 주다 비게지 가시오래. 최념린 제세야지다. 지비게 최체세야지. 다 뒤주다고 많은 셰되게 요레스. 셰번은 신기 아니지 많은 주 비게 윤대네 지비게 강토도 지비게 예조래야 주연체는 비게 강토도 제대 제신부터 처리 요레스. 이내 아니지 비게 최세대 전에 진비게 가시오래. 소도 제야지다. 최세대 전에 비게 양코피게 매제 차셔로 지리야 멤버체. 양코피게 매제기 지비게 제는 로스로지. 삼호화제. 근데 지양 정말 마야야기 내가 매대버지 자원이는 말이 제가 내인도 전에 최세야티다. 조대만 주비게 가시오래. 매제 상고게야다. 매제 야고시 게토야 올이야. 차되게 요레스.
And so we normally talk about practicing the Dharma, doing the Dharma practice or practicing the Dharma all the time, and we also try our best, to do as much as we can. But some people, it is not unlikely that some people don't think in this way about practicing Dharma. So something like you do on the side, not the part of the life, but just on the side of your life, or maybe just a partial of your life. You do that, or just side of on part of the life only. It's not unlikely to not think like that. So Dharma practice is done something like that, but rather the Dharma practice is done throughout the life, to have a good life and to have a novel life.
디나네 디네비게 지만한 종네 전에 지비게 가쇼그래 즉 최세야데 즉 고승비 줘봐 시신 되어지 용토야다 지비게 나는주 지비게 쌤 님문부 상원제 쌤 지비게 하장이라고 즉 겨처럼 통만 매번에 님문부 상원제 인도산에 쌤 하장이라고 쌤 하장이 뭐 시신 뭐 되어 여대버 텐데디 아니 지비게 쌤 시신 되어 쌤 지비게 가쇼그래 가쇼르다 셈이야 제정토야기 디디기 림베지 토네 셰비소레스 마토지기 양지 그게 최스두산에 지피게 균딩이 메지게 레로스 셰야기 고차와지 개차기요 마레스.
So the Dharma practice is done to subdue or to pacify our three doors, the body, speech and mind. And so since our body, speech, and mind are under the control of the power of delusions, the gross mind, the delusions, and so in order to pacify that or to subdue that mind, we do the Dharma practice. So so it is done in order to, throughout our life to subdue our mind.
하와도 되는 비게지 말한주 아니 지비게 미생에들이야 지비 하장의 남주에 된바 지비게 운에 타네 지 뉴버된 바탕 지 운에 타네 지 비게 쇼지 깨베는 말한주 지 가리네 제투에 여대바 양 지비게 가쇼데 가쇼 뉴버당 밀레 여비게 지비게 가쇼데 다 데다 저 뉴버와 뉴버당 지비게 민남주에 지비게 아니 지 가쇼데다 야고지 돌이야 배주 담모도 보이는 아니 양지 그게 하장 섭취부상 하장의 지 그게 좀제 아니 도자 이제 샤투에 여대와 어때 이제 지 그게 말한 소리야 지 그게 tumbe 게 먹고지 당 지 그게 개개 먹고 싶지 또 차되게 어렸어.
Especially the human life, as a human beings, human life has a great potential, has a great intelligence and a great potentials. So that those potentials and the intelligence, and if used, for a good purpose, can benefit a lot. But if that is used for a bad purpose or for a violence purpose and so forth, then it can bring a great destructions as well. So depending on how we use it, it can bring a very great or also a disastrous results.
세상 딘데를 지그게 누가다 딘데를 차게 지그게 여대버티 아니 지그게 상고초라 땅마당당 지그게 님배초라 땅마당 세야티 아니 지그게 차창원티 아니 가쇼그래 나란줄이야 누가 여대버치 나란줄이야 담가 여대버치 차게 됐어.
And so this potential and the intelligence and the potential that we have, we do have a choice, to how we want to use it for a good purpose or for a bad purpose.
어쨌든 뒤인도 전에다 나란줄은 담가 여대버다 나란줄이야 지그게 가쇼그래 다지 그게 누가 가쇼그래 왕제 여대야티 나란줄 아니 되미 추수수 만들어 아니 뒤집게 가쇼 된다 된바지 용토야 되라 다 나란줄기 나란줄은 슈기하고 개시슈 차리기 어렸어.
And so this potential and the intelligence over which we have the choice and the power, is very important to use it for a good purpose, and so to make our life meaningful.
하와도 단계 공도 쉬버는 신기 지비게 제가 통만 매버네 지비게 장신 되니비게 님무베 시원제 지비게 정말 아니 지비게 가쇼그래다 생기 정말 생기랑 신의 수요 말때 랑신 수요랑 신기 되니비게 지기 님무게 비게 왕도 송대와 인도자네 디 개개의 초스트라기 아니 년가다 뭔고 여대버지당 디 초스트라기 지비게 차게로 뭔고 여대버지 차기 어렸어.
And since our mind is so accustomed with the delusion since beginningless lifetime, although our nature of our mind is not delusional, but it's almost like it's delusional. But nature of the mind is almost like a delusional, and so therefore, even though we have that choice and the power or the independence, but it is because of being influenced by these delusions throughout a beginningless lifetime. It is so easy to go in the wrong way or use it for the wrong purpose.
제가 되게 인도자네다 가지고래 저저저다 류나게 지금 예주든도 도면이야 아니 지금 저저도 생중고에 다 계시시 차리기 어렸어.
And so, mainly it is more important, to subdue, to train, to tame our mind, and to control the actions of our body and speech.
지금 샘생이 때문에 전에 고비게 종다지때 콜이야 지금 가쇼래 다 지금 가쇼래다 콜제도 마순에 장바이나 오늘 지금 누가 된토에 여대봐 비게 운에 타네 비게 비게 다자고 좀 봐. 그디 제 아니 비게 토마토는 나한주단 한 다와 임바데 이내 준비 비게 하슈그레 셈리야 주 셈준벌 땐 되니 비게 준비 되니 같이 하슈그레다 사람기 버진베 초신이 되니 비게 지금 운에 타네 산지 유고방 세 토벌 또 차디기 요래 제가 띠 인도전이 된대로 이거티 차성원지 나한주래 한 비게 차성원 예대부터 차기 요래 제가 되니 인도전에 된대로 이거 차성원 디 나한주래 예대로 인도전이 다디 아니지 비게 가슈그래 다 나한주 돈에 아니지 비게 뭐처럼 제가 되게 좀 제고 그랬어
and so this mind, if we train it in a right way, it can be trained to become a perfect. You know, so just like Buddha Shakyamuni wasn't Buddha from the beginning, he was an ordinary being like ourselves, and then later through taming or training his mind, and then gradually practicing all the paths and grounds, and eventually he achieves, state of full enlightenment. And so, so we also have the same kind of potential, just like the Buddha Shakyamuni had. And so we all have that, and it is very important, to identify that.
다 최냠수 난고 라 제발이야 다 아니 최지야 땡고면 버리 지단 인도산에다 아니 가수 바버티 아니 뜻이비게 가수그래 전주 남지린 베토네 아니 지비게 가수그래다 가수그래다 연대 시주메 토네 아니 봐 심지디베진베 아니 지비게 도두선 어디도 쉬야 차기더레스.
And so, so for that, at the beginning we have to practice the Dharma, and in order to practice the Dharma, we have to have a Dharma to practice. And so here at this time, in this context, the Dharma to practice, the Dharma to depend on and to practice is the gradual path to enlightenment, the foundation of all good qualities.
가슈그래 연대 시주면 토는마 또 쉬어체 다 연대 시주만 쇼소사 어디 인도전에다 연대 군지 시주 진진치 수신 담발람지 자오로 아니 내가 돈에 배워 도마이 kuba chimbe demba chingi los dewa to seta di indu ka suta kashure shinye tenju di sungu yusare dewa.
And so the text starts, the foundation of all good qualities. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. So in this stanza, it explains mainly about the guru devotion.
That Toma did Kashore Tender Tomipigi, Chanju Lamdi, and she pige, Chuju, and December Chevalaya, and she pige Jojo, the Tanipigi Kashore, Ali Kashu, the Takazem, Tama Kashu Kazem, Dosin, and Aranju, she pige, Guru, the Tenikandu Tandu, Tenipigi, Tindegi, on the Masumara, and she pige, Mune, Kashure, Tawatiadan. 아니 지피게 좋아 주상에 테니피게 르덴 상부티 아니 지피게 되면 수수수 못하는데야 아니 피게 니불해 봐 시기 인상배 테니피게 고용기 아니 셈바지 거에도 개침시다레스.
And so at the beginning, in order to receive this teaching on the gradual path to enlightenment, on the foundation of good qualities, it is important to set up a proper motivation. And so at least to not have the motivation, thinking that I'm going to receive this teaching to become famous and to become rich and so forth, but rather I'm going to, in order to make this perfect human rebirth with the 8 leisures and 10 endowments become meaningful, I'm going to receive these teachings. And so if we receive this teaching with the selfish thoughts for oneself to become rich and famous and so forth, then by receiving this teaching, instead of becoming beneficial for oneself, there's no certainty that it will not become harmful to oneself. And then with that proper motivation, one should listen to the teachings by applying the 3 worthy vessels, by abandoning the 3 faulty vessels, and by applying the 6 recognitions. And so the 3 faulty vessels are, the vessel upside down, the vessel with the fall in the bottom, and then the vessel, a filthy vessel, or a filth inside. If the vessel has a hole in it, then no matter how much you put milk or honey or all kinds of food that has great taste and protein, if you pour inside it, it will all fall out. It will all pour out, so nothing will stay inside. And so just like that, when we listen to the teachings, it is very important that we listen with the mindfulness, so it will stay in our mind. And then there's the vessel upside down, and so if it's upside down, then no matter how much you throw food inside there, the food with a great taste and protein, no matter how much you put inside it will not go inside because the vessel is upside down. And so So just like that, when you listen to the teachings, it's very important, to listen attentively and hold in our mind. And then there's a vessel with the field inside, and so even if it's upright and doesn't have a hole, but if it's filled inside there, then when you pour all kinds of food, drinks, that has a great taste and a protein inside, then it becomes filthy also. It will be not usable, not eatable, right? And so it will not be useful at all. And so just like that, it is important for us to listen to the teachings with a good motivation. So if we listen with the bad motivation, bad thought, then the teaching doesn't become beneficial for ourselves or for others. And so it is very important that we listen with the proper motivation. And so we should listen to the teachings by abandoning these three faulty vessels.
What is it? 내지 준순다 차와 아니 가지고래 tunjin du shi chu right oda tinde rang never the du shi chu sung ni namala never the du shi ani chola mengi du shi ani ji pi ga shugure chu ji chu nyam so lemba kasa chu ji rindu kaza chu 아니 냠소랑데 아니 내초에 두시 아니 디신시 원래 기본탐배 두시 아니 가지고래 최기 수준도 내배 두시 어디 된대기 집비게 두시 졸어서 봐 나 된대기 비 두시 된 거야 시작해 좀 제거했어.
And also it is important to apply the 6 recognitions, so recognizing oneself as a patient, a sick person, a patient, and the Lama, or the Buddha who teach as recognizing him or her as a doctor, and the Dharma, the teaching itself as the medicine, and by practicing Dharma, one will be recovered from the disease, and so one should have that recognition, and then recognize the Tathagata or the Buddha as a noble being, and having the recognition for the Dharma to strive for a long time. So we should listen to these 6 recognitions.
어다 된다고 되는 직비게 가시고래 아니 직 교도조 원도 손에 토네 아니 직비게 원에 탄에 비게 직 수신도 직 도토가 있나 되는 비게 직 니모 지중도 좋아다 아니 직비게 심주 세상도 손에 아니 직비게 가시고래 원에 탄에 직비게 슈 가요라이 직비게 가시고래 산지 고방 토레알이야 교조 통행이 아니 직비게 추기 다 직비게 추 아니 남자 structure 친구です.
And so if we have all these causes together and practice Dharma properly in this way, then it is possible for us to reduce our delusions to smaller and smaller, and then increase our mind to become more and more novel, and eventually by practicing perfectly, we can achieve enlightenment. So that can be possible like that. And so please listen in that way.
아니 지금 신도친 물로도 도미 실수 아니 지금 간다 지금 넘버 탐지 캠버 넘버 탐지 캠베 고방 야 고버 아니 지금 살이야 티투에 기타니 비게 추기 수 지금 원래 전에 도드나 지금 인진도 숨기 되는 비게 주제 아니 비게 내 차창 지금 가시고래 아니 지금 냠슬린 주디 아니 지금 기우순기 람지진베 냠랭기 나리아마 뒤제네 송대야티 아니 지금 시라기 계주 아니 전부친 자디기 요리스
and this gradual path to enlightenment, which combines all the important points of the Buddha's teaching, which includes the teachings of the two pioneers, Nagarjuna and Sangha, and that that shows the complete path to achieve the state of the omniscience. So if we and these teachings, which also explains the stages of the path, the stages of the practice of the three scopes, the small, medium, and great scope, has these great features or benefits.
탐제기 아니 내 용수 뒤딩이기 아니 주제 차성원 된배기 아니 중시 차리어스.
And so in short, it's a text. The gradual path to enlightenment is a text that explains all the teachings of the that explains all the important points of the teachings of all the teachings of the Buddha.
대단 대인도 전에 아니 지라게다 아슈데 되게 계주는데 뭐도 도스인배나 다 아니 도마 당기슈는 신 신이 된주기 좀 받임이다 어디 대인도 전에다 아니 말한 줄 듣는 비게지 도마들이야 아니 지 가슈그래 예신이 되니 지피게 만주되니 지피게 디지 렉소 타다 아니 지피게 내 차상을 땡이기 되니 비게 랑도 만호 땡이기 아니 지피게 문에 전에 거딩이 다니 인베나 아니 지피게 디지 렉소 창물로 되니 비게 예신이 진도를 되네 총화 인바당 아니 지피게 문에 전에 지피게 가슈그래 풍경 가슈그래 니는 치마 되니 지피게 간지테네 되니 비게 람들 쟁에디 예신이도 차디기 요리 지자데 인도산에 예신이디 하장 나줄이야 비게지 거디 첨부 또 차디기 요리스 지당 나란주 되니 비게 점불인 디니원도 체베기 되니 비게 가슈그래 지당을 나란주 지 리릭 간지지 토리아 나란주로 좀 체베이네리 지피게 딜이야 지피게 리릭 간데스 담베이네 디 리릭티 투투야리아 아니 비게 토만 로제마 팅이티 나란주 다 시라케 좀 붙여고 열어봤어 미미제나리아 지단 디 인도산에 따디 아니 나란주 세디강기 지피게 되던 주비아당 세디강기 아니 지피게 디디기 시작 잠시만도 준투기 요마레스 이네 안줄이야 개심부 시부지 차디기 요바디 아니 안줄 균댕기 메지 토네 아니 지피게 또 토야지당 안줄 아니 개심부 지대에서도 시작이 요레스 제가 디 인도산에다 제니 개신이 되더니 피게 타바다 탐지의 팀을 드베기 되니 피게 아슈그레다 네 아니 지피게 차창 땡딩에 아니 지피게 문에 랑 거딩이 다니 되잖니 열심히 랑 등피게 디지털에서 거기 자와 임베나 안다티 마음주리야 거딩기 다니도 스토리들이 요래 제가디 인다티 아니 마음주 수신 땡고라티 아니 시라케 좀 찾으려래 제가디 인도선에 열심히 기강리야 챙기 깨주 경주기 아니 지피게 가슈그래 땡베 수디 레버 일을 템베 토네 아니 지피게 예신이디 아니 비게 삼조니기 거네 아니 출신 아니 템바치 용도 쇼스 송요레스.
And so this teaching with this great feature and so, that explains, just like I mentioned earlier, starts with the explaining of the Guru devotion. So the Guru devotion explains about the Guru, how Guru is very important, and why it's important to devote to the guru or rely on the guru. So by depending or by relying on the guru, we achieve all the goodnesses, all the good results of this life and future life comes from following the guru. So by following the advice of the guru, and whatever guru tells us to practice, by practicing that. So whatever to be abandoned, abandoning that, and whatever is to be adopted, and by adopting that. So because guru teaches that to us, therefore guru is very very kind. Is grateful to us in that sense, because he or she explains all these teachings or the path or the means for us to achieve goodness and happiness, not only this life but also in the future lives, and all the way to enlightenment. So even in this regular life, somebody who teaches us how to do something, we consider that person very kind, very grateful. So even though it's just for the, whether we can do something in our life or not depends on whether we have studied that or not, or whether we have relied on somebody who teach us that or not. So if we have received those teachings, from somebody who have relied on, then we'll be able to do that. If fixing or making something, we'll be able to do if we have, learned that, to do from somebody. And so that's only for this life, right? So just to accomplish the happiness and desires, wishes of this life, that's very important. Even for that, is very important. And to achieve the goodness and happiness, for future life is even more important, and which we can achieve by depending on the guru. And so, knowing that, then we should rely on the guru through thought and action. So now here in the end of the first stanza, it says, "Please bless me to rely upon him with a great respect." So be able to rely on him through thought and action as well.
네, 근데 지금 그게 가지고 그래. 열심히 했더니 아주 지금 그게 대화 치중 아니 지금 그게 가지고 그래. 관계 하고 했더니 왜 너무나 관계 값이야. 근데 그게 열심히 했더니 신이 된 줄이 다시라 계속 뭐또 숨겨렸어. 제단 뒤에 전에 아니 지금 그게 열심히 대배 땐 가는 때야 그게 열심히 대한 지금 그게 진리의 상황이지. 그봐. 진리의 상황이 그거다. 시작 계속 붙여기요랬어.
And so the guru devotion is very important in all sorts of practices, all forms of practice that we do, whether it's the Mahayana practice or the Hinayana practice, or whether it's a Sutra or Tantra practice. The guru devotion is very important. So the guru that we rely on has to be a qualified guru.
마도지기 때문에 비게 가지고 그래. 중리 시합하는 신기 때문에 비게 지금 만다 준제라야 때문에 비게 가지고 그래. 도안의 시합에 때문에 라메 친이 오다 준전치 또 숨고 여러 봐. 어쨌든 뒤에 전에 아니 비게 가지고 그래. 신이 도와시고 니시고 연대하고 준지 롱주. 뒤니라도 또 마케데 제외다니 교화방라 댄스 지금 소는 신기 때문에 비게 지금 만다 준제야 때문에 비게 도안의 시합에 때문에 최초로 소가 때문에 비게 상등이 될 라마지 된 거에 개침 처리 어렸어.
And so we have to rely on a guru who has all these qualities to be a qualified guru. And so just like it is explained in the Vinaya, so the teacher who is subdued, who is pacified, closely pacified, and so forth. So we should find a guru who has all these qualities, like it is explained in the Vinaya.
저는 오늘 열심히 친이들 때만 지금 때문에 통에 되게 중요한 수는 토베스 중앙에는 되니 제 가래인의 사람들이 또 귤이 돼야이네리 아니 지금 그게 오늘 전에 지금 그게 가지고 그래 신변 주의하다 간지태네 아니 계산 첨부요 됐어.
So if we can find that kind of a qualified guru and then and rely on him or her, then it really becomes beneficial. In a sense that if can find that guru, that kind of guru, then we'll be able to achieve the realizations that we strive to achieve, and also make a difference in benefiting others through the teachings that we received from the qualified guru. Otherwise, if we don't have this kind of qualified guru, then it will be we'll not be able to practice properly, and also there's a danger of breaking, the commitment of the guru devotion.
최단 하중으로 근데 송바이네 야 연구도 베스 진행하는 세미나 테올레비다 대인데 거예요 말이스 아니지 그게 제신이 그냥 최단 하중베기 아니지 그게 랍자다 최단 하중베기 아니지 그게 자원 장수스 근데 람도 총이나 근데 나지 제신이야 세시춘 되어요레스
and so when we rely on a qualified guru, then does it mean that we have to follow everything he or she says, even if it's not in accordance with the Dharma? And then it is not necessary. So if he or she asks us to engage in the activity that is not in accordance with the Dharma, then you can not follow by explaining why it is not proper for us to follow that kind of action.
Correct. Reveille minuna minute la tsigi chance to sunyores. Tika to long the Hawaii tsigi tadi quality. Temasa. That what it was it that and that did it. Should the modern big it in pige jig chawa shoes. Should the modern big it in pige Kashugre, Ligu, Beshus, Centus, Kedi, Yershini, Sunga on the Tana, Delia, See Janshin. To go to the Sunga that long to that, no.
So anyway, I don't remember this the stanza that I was trying to recite from where it came from. But anyway, the meaning is that if even if the guru says something to do that is not in accordance with the Dharma, then we can see and explain to explain and not do that or not follow his or her advices.
That's true. The Timby, Lamdan, that Timby, Gallo Harapi, and Gashin the duality, that gets him
but if it is advice in accordance with the Dharma, then it is very important to follow just as being advised.
Oh, Children, Laboratories, right? Then it began. Yershini Gajindi, Gajindi laboratories, and it better to make on it, and it Yershini, and some journey on it, then to Baji, and it changes up to source.
And so, by clearly seeing this, seeing this, and applying great effort, says, please bless me to rely upon him. With great respect, so rely upon him with the thought and action.
That's if that's the way, I should let me see now. Then if you give it to see yours, then you have a temper to do them to Shusha.
So if you want to receive more an extensive or detailed explanation, then it is explained in the great stage of the path to enlightenment. Now I'm just explaining whatever I could remember.
What is it? Temba, and Chindula to Sus, 봐 신이데 아니 비게 삼존니기 주도 수지 아니 덴토바지 아니 한번 하죠 나만 하죠기 아니 랑이 주 아니 신기라도 수스 다들 소데스.
And so here one is requesting one's the guru deities, requesting the guru by saying, please bless me, requesting one's guru deities, to bless oneself, to be able to devote, to the guru properly with thought and actions.
다들 린지니베 서와 린지니베 대외 대선디 신윤여가를 전신시주네스 봐 린지니베스 많은 줄테니 비게 미 르데 상부티 수고다 대화계당 조주 상대 미 르데 상부티 아니 린지니베스 전에 다른 직원이었어 이래서 고구마보다 다 본다 린지니베스 전에 하장이 녀 하고잉에 봐 린지니베스 린지 다 다른 직원이에 서로 치다 봐 어디 된적이 되는 비게 지금 아주 그래요. 대화계는 조주 상대 되니 미 르데 상부티 아니 지피에 다 대화스는 최초야 그 대화스는 콤바스지다 콤바스 가르는 콤바스는 최초야 콤바스 그봐 다 수에 되는 비게 말아줄 때 오늘 예소송당 아니 년주 지피게 감송 고아지다 아니 하고 말에 예소송을 쏘고 너는 지피게 미국 내내 된대리야 걔는 같이 그게 최초야기 아니 걔부터 제대로 열어 봐 지금 냐왔다 불리는 데는 되게 차단을 통해 아니 지금 일하다 불리는 데는 대공기 통해 아니 지금 두두다 불리는 데는 이게 지금 내신 대목을 통해 아니 지금 그래 하루마다 하루는 데는 이게 지대 법을 통해 어다 한다게 되게 지 가슈르다 가슈르다 네 강도 봐 아니 지금 예수님의 소리에 네 강도 계장 되니 비게 최초에 개보다 제대 또 차되게 열었어 진짜 많이 봐 아니 지금 가슈르 말한주 되니 비게 지금 최초에 되니 비게 튕겨 마상 오는 거상 아니 지금 개인 타다다 제 지금 오늘 전에 이게 지금 최초에 지금 오늘 말한주 지금 말한주 슈 겸을 겸지다 말한주 오늘 누가 때문에 되고 맞다 지기 말한주 차기 그게 튕겨서는 또 되는 니주지 인도산에 봐 아니 대화스 최초에 대화 콤바 봐 어디 대상 with this
So, and then the next stanza, which is understanding that the person's freedom of this rebirth is found only once. So when talking about found only once, I don't think it means this is the only time we found. So what it means is very difficult to find, that almost feels like this is the only time it's found, or we'll never be able to find it again. And so that's what it means. It says only found only once. So this talking about this perfect human rebirth, the human rebirth with 8 leisures and 10 endowments. And so talking about the leisures, what does it mean? Leisure means having time or having the freedom to do to practice the Dharma. And so just because we are born as human beings, we have that freedom. So if we were born in the low realm as hell being, hungry ghost, or animals, we will not have that freedom, that leisure or that freedom to do the practice. So as hell beings, they are always tormented by the sufferings of the extreme heat and cold, and then they have no freedom to practice Dharma. And if one is born as a hungry ghost, one is tormented by extreme hunger and thirst all the time, then one has no thought of practice Dharma at all. And then if one is born as animal, then one is mostly dull and ignorant, foolish, stupid and ignorant, will not be able to practice Dharma. And then if one is born as a god, one have all that, distractions, pleasures in their life, and especially seeing the extreme suffering of seeing the sign of death at the time of death. And so with this, all these things, one will not have the fortune or the chance, to practice Dharma, practice Dharma. So because we are not born in any of the three lower realms or as a long life God, and being born as human beings, we are free from that. And so if we, it's just that, whether we practice or not. Otherwise, if we were to do the practice, we were to make the effort to do the practice, then we can achieve what we want to achieve, through this perfect human rebirth. And so anyway, so the perfect human rebirth that we have now has that leisure or the freedom to practice Dharma. So, and then, so earlier I didn't mention that, but then there's, when we talk about the leisures, endowments, 8 leisures, so there are 4 that are within the humans, and there are 4 within non-humans. And so the first 4 that I just mentioned are the non-humans. And then within the human beings, even if one is born as a human being, if one doesn't have complete senses, or if one has a wrong view, very strong wrong view, doesn't have, if one is like a barbarian, and born in a remote place and so forth, then one will not be able to practice Dharma, one will not have that leisure or the freedom to practice Dharma as well. So, not being any of those that I just mentioned, and having freedom, being born as a human being with all these 8 leisures, therefore we have this perfect human rebirth. Says it's greatly meaningful and it's difficult to find again. And so this kind of perfect human rebirth has a great value, great meaning, and it's very extremely difficult to achieve. So that we have achieved, it is not something that is achieved without any cause and conditions, or something that was just given by others like that. It's not like that, and we have created so many causes and conditions for us to achieve this perfect human rebirth. And then in terms of the difficulties to find this perfect rebirth, it has explained, in the teaching it explains through examples, through natures and so forth. So this perfect human rebirth is achieved, through observing the morality perfectly, and then having made stainless prayers, and having practiced, created the cause of practicing generosity and so forth, And so by accumulating all these various kinds of causes together, we have achieved this perfect human rebirth. It's not something that came without causes and conditions.
신도니아바스 전제시주네 다 된대에 지그게 르데 아니 지그게 가슈레 대외된 상고 된대기 다 지그게 톱대버 디 때내야 문에 전에 나란지 배주 쳐버리나 다 된다 침부치 주토야 이되게 봐 지그게 문에 전에 나란지 누가던 바다 단기 쉬었는 신 누가던 바다 문에 전에 지그게 남주의 배주야 혹시 땅 토버이나 아니 지그게 라블이야 되는 게 산지지 고봐 아니 정례야 되는 게 타버침도 고봐 아니 타마인베 양 되는 게 세치마 되는 게 아니 뭔들 대상고 어디 주토야 되는 이게 자연 여대배 자기요 됐어
So by understanding that this perfect human rebirth has a great meaning, great meaning, when one can achieve a great purpose from this through this perfect human rebirth. So just like I said earlier, it's just that we're not making a good use of it. Otherwise, if we were to make a good use of it and make a make an effort, to make good use of it, then we can have all these wonderful results, from this perfect human rebirth. The best we can have the achievement of this state of full enlightenment. The middling, we can have liberation for oneself, at least for oneself alone. And at the end, at the very little, at the least, one can also make it, useful by creating a cause to achieve higher state of rebirth as human or God.
아주 하고고야 시작해 좀 그랬어. 하고는 토네 다문에 지금에 비게 되면 주수 스타는 지금 민도 스탄지네. 되니 비게 지 가수 그래. 닌자 신부스 맞진 버 아니 지 비게 오늘 닌제 아니 지 비게 꼰도 아니 비게 지 대화되는 저 주성 류된 상부티 아니 님불이야기 아니 뭐 방수 이게 더 지고 그랬어. 제가 이인도잖아요. 된제기 직비게 아니 님불렌디로 아니 지기 가슈그라 당규를 야게 토바지 아니 라마 하조기 안 규친지로 쓰스.
So understanding that is very important, and understanding that we have this perfect human rebirth, which has a great value or meaning, and understanding that is very important. So through understanding that, then we will not waste this perfect human rebirth. If we don't understand that, then we might waste it. So if we understand that, then we will not waste it, right? So by through understanding that, so please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night take it as essence. So again, making requests to the Guru deities, to bless us, to be able to make this perfect rebirth meaningful.
신도니가 현재 셰줄에 어디서 년제군도 님불렘벨로 어다 된제기 아니 지그게 년제군도 님불렘되기 아니로 아니 지그게 좀 많이 임버지 봐 지그게 로 쇼타보지 봐 어다 된제지게 도보지 아니 라마라서 규친기다 쓰스.
And so requesting the Guru deities, to bless oneself, to be able to take the essence from this perfect human rebirth throughout day and night.
단 유소요와 봐 데스데스레 유소요와 추부르신 뉴도 집에 치워탄 바탕 사 시외 지수 르다 드마시 가나는 지시 당원은 니가 때문에 예배초 차신 청와 남자 홍당 계속 타다 두고 쳐발라 나도 받았는데 봐 진짜 로스.
And then the next two stanzas is, this life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of black and white karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest of negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds.
다단디 디콘이야 되는 비게 가쇼레 대화적인 조주 상배 리딩 상부티 다 되면 주수수 모동 와르 아니 민불량 량고 같은 송으로 와 제가 디인도선에 다 된제게 되는 비게 리딩 상부티 민불 량고 민불 가쇼레 아니 직비게 된제게 리딩 상부티 야행예가 유나다 아니 직비게 단내 민불 말랑게 축경 단내 민불 말랑에 들려 왔다 지기여버데 된제 많이 받는데 야 네가 싫어하지 공부해 버렸어 공부시라이 버렸어 디 인도산에다 공부 인도산에다 단이 가시고 그래 네베 그거도 소원이나 아니 집이게 남지는 예범해봐 그봐 차디도산에 아니 집이게 님부터 다다니도 랭고봐 어디 소원했어
And excuse me. So, so earlier he says, we should not waste this prophet rebirth for meaningless things, but rather extract the essence, by practicing Dharma. And so, so then here he talks about if it will be okay not to take essence, from this prophet rebirth now, if we were to be able to find it again and again, right? So because it cannot be found again and again. And this could be the only time that we can find. Therefore, we should take the essence, extract the essence from this prophet rebirth right now. And also, we should do it right now because we don't know whether we'll be able to do it later or not because the time of death is uncertain.
Right? 아니 지금 요소요, right? 추구신, 답변이 추구는 싫어. 추구대 하장게 될 때문에 매봤다. 하장게 되는 비게 지구라고 와. 뒤는시 되는 나란주 되는 비게 지 뉴소 되는 비게 싫어하게 되는 비게 지구라고 타. 아니 지비게 가시오래. 다지 비게 지구라고 임베나스 와. 어다 지비게 지 된제기 지비게 아니 가시오래. 다추 아니 나란주 일에 템페 토네. 아니 지금 가시오래다 누구 다다니도 랭고 같아 아니 랑쇼기 슈모토다 로게토야지 누구요레스 제가 디인도산에 아니 나 가시오래 슈모토기 테니피게 텐조토고 텐다 때문에 다다니도 주고 같이 아니 게토고 주고레스.
And so by thinking this life is as impermanent and as a water bubble or water wave, we will be, able to take the essence, from it right now. So if we're to think about the impermanence of this body that can disintegrate or decay any time, and there's no certainty that it will last for even for a moment and so forth, a moment or longer, and therefore, if we think in this way, then it will automatically make us to take the essence, extract the essence from this perfect rebirth right now. And once we die, where we're going to be born, we don't have any control over it at all. It all depends on the karma that we've created, so we'll just have to follow the karma, the white and black karma, just like we follow the shadow. So just like I mentioned earlier, that that we've been so strongly accustomed or used to the delusions since the beginning of this lifetime. And like every time whatever we thought, all our thoughts are delusion and all our actions are negativities. So when it is like that, it is very difficult to say, difficult to have this confidence in us, thinking that we'll be born in the upper realm in the next life. And therefore, practicing Dharma right now becomes even more important. So generally, when when the opportunity to practice Dharma, or the the condition to practice Dharma becomes better and better, or better and better, then then there will be less of the life's the activities. But then when there's more activities of the life, we become more busy with our regular life's activity. Then it becomes less opportunity for us to practice Dharma. But nowadays, even though our life is very busy with the external things, but also it has created so many facilities, favorable conditions or facilities for us to practice Dharma, in terms of getting to the places to receive teachings and so forth. And so so because of that, we can't say that there's no opportunity to practice Dharma now. We do have that opportunity to practice Dharma even at this busy time. So by contemplating on the karma and the results, the karma and the results, so we should see that no matter how small the positive actions are, it is worth creating, and no matter how small the negative karmas are, it is worth abandoning. And so we should have that thought of making the effort to create the positive karma, no matter how small they are, and to abandon the negative karmas, no matter how small they are. And so just like it is explained in the great stages of the path to enlightenment, that even if it's very small positive karma and a positive action, it can bring great benefits. And even if it is a very small negative and unvirtuous karma, it can bring a great sufferings.
아니 뭐 산제 중간에 신슈를 qable야 되니 집이게 김다 베베스 되니 비가 하장기 밀로토고 아니 경고 비게 내가 인데봐 어디다 된지 중세네 되니 코로나 집이게 중된디기 시합을 또네 되니 집이게 라도 중도 중화다 아니 집 중대대로 라도 중 소왔다는 소왔다버스 소왔다베 qable야 되니 비게 중된디기 되니 비게 캬 되니 비게 아니 라도 중요하게 계산이 유명해 아니 따오르스 또 스카페치네 어디 또 시리즈네 되니 샤리푸가 되니 비게 시베 qable야 아니 지 비게 가슈그래 샤리푸 무시스 샤 몽게푸 말래 그래 몽게푸 되니 무시스 시체네 무시스 시베 qable야 되니 지 비게 마시버와 마시버이는 마시버와 마시네 되네 비게 좀 된데 비게 아니 몽게 보기 되네 비게 무시기 돈에 내가 가시고 그래 봐 시리즈네 콜 계산 민도스 채송 아니 치수 되네 비게 좀 된데 되네 아니 시베 깔려야 되네 뭐 롱어 되네 비게 로 장내 대비지 공려야 되네 비게 김다 대지에 되네 정부지를 겨와라 아니 정부도 되네 비게 가시고 그래 좋아지 간 대지 좋아지 아니 추지리야 추 아니 키제 두스 아니 최대지 탈이야 추두스 기대지 디나리야 되네 좋아지 좋아지 베지 로마르즈 메드로스 되는지 이건 조어디가 정부의 팝지 디 아니 꼬라 탭치네 최대인들이야 딱 어떤 데기 비게 값이 총을 채로와 지난 데기 최대인 꼬라 탭에 계좌티기 아니 김다 베제 아니 지그게 값이 되는 비게 정부의 탭에 값이야 아니 지그게 꼬라 탭 구는 또 요마르와 요마르 때에 이미 지피게 데기 가시오래 꼬라 태버점기 아니지 그게 계좌 타베사브 준도버지 총체네 아니 라도 중요한 고급 총진되니 타르 아니지 그게 퇴선 냠내지 되니 다좀 고반토 어떤데 송고요레스 zanti indu 말아줘 되니 규제와 충중지네 되니 가서 능조 마셔 채고야 돼 쉬우지 개침 채고요레스 지난 규제와 충지를 된 디부도 가서 디부대와 용토가 되어다 되게 배송고요레스.
And to give the example of how the small positive karma can bring a great result, there once during the time of the Buddha, there was this householder called Kaybje, the householder Kaybje, who was old and sick, and so he, fell on the feet of Buddha and requested, to give ordination. And so when Mongoliana, looked through his clairvoyance, whether he has any virtue, to become a monk or not, and he couldn't see any virtue that old man possessed, to be able to become a monk and in that lifetime. But then there was like very, very far time behind, like thousands of countless years behind, lifetime behind. This old man was born as a fly, and who happened to land on a cow dung, and which happened to be carried by water, and which happened to go around the stupa. So he didn't have any positive motivation. He didn't have good motivation, but just because he happened to have gone around stupor once, and because of that positive karma, the Buddha said he had that virtue to become a monk. And so then he was ordained, and then through following the teachings and practices, he was able to become arhat in that very lifetime. And so you can see that from the very small positive karma, one can have a great results.
tunjuming dial so that the day join in the Sichimatini Piggy, Jaw Mongol, Tinipig, Tunjuli Jawalan, but the day Mongosun, Sedan day into Mijo Chun, then the Tibutung Yong there, but the day you were, Sedan day into you Mijo Chun and the Pong Tubati, Pong on Bego, but Shitaki Chagioris.
And so we should not look down on a small positive karma thinking that it's nothing, because even from the small positive karma, we can get a great benefits, a great results. And also same with the small negative karma. So even if it is small negative karma, we should not think that, it's small negative karma, so it doesn't matter even if I create it. We should not think that, because even just creating small negative karma can bring a very great suffering results. So there are many stories, which I don't remember all of them, but anyway, so just by calling somebody with the name of animal, one can be born as an animal. So that sounds like a very small negative karma, but then one can be born as the actual animal by calling somebody the name of that animal. So even if it's a very small negative karma, we should not look down at it and say it doesn't matter if we create it. We should still strive to abandon no matter how small negative karma is.
세단 딘데기 직비게 렌저 도주디 레버 셰베 토네 아니 직비게 가슈브레 직비게 차신 타워 직비게 레직 리버 미디어 같은 차신 타워는 봉투바다 아니 직비게 겨 아니 직비게 가슈브레 차신 타워 비게 직 가서 겨 추지네 되니 비게 강토두기 되니 두투바치
And so just like it says in the text, it says, finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful to abandon even the slightest of negativities and accomplish all the virtuous deeds. And so by doing this, to do this, and may I be very conscientious. It says, may I be very conscientious or careful. And so, requesting the Guru deities, to bless me to be very conscientious, about not creating any negative karmas, and no matter how small they are, and creating and striving to create only positive karmas, no matter how small they are.
다들 괜찮습니다. 다 당시에 아니 대원의 teori는
so we'll stop here for tonight, and if you have any questions, maybe we can have one or two question answers.
다게 진이사게
야와데 텐다로와 올라간데 나케라지저 로산 더바이 텐데 니모렌도 사시.
I was wondering if Rinpoche could explain how the power of the mind, how powerful is the mind?
Sem university
No.
Sem university teta Zambulin dinang ki ngaranju ki chikpige hawa to that give zoal majung ki nizu inda dan ali tarang go chikejero wa give zoal chungde ki chikpige ri-rawa kasho ta kangwa ta teni pige really motor set ya ro chik mangu shuji oro ta chik hawa to chiglo be yage tenju changwa ti semi level teni chungwa res semgi level semgi teni pige level chute di tangjin chebe thone ani lunga gi ani pige kasho re begun cheni di thone ani changwa yongde cheltus sa di indu zane ani chikpige hawa to ma ta teni chikpige dujienda dus changwa pa 제주 당 시주에 세민도 벌더니 오도왔어. 제가 뒤에 세민도 하장 첨부됐어. 아니 제 초조 통에 시험에 있는데 이게 남진 제회 고원 두세야 세민도 같이 통에 시험이 어렸어. 어다 제가 뒤에 답을 함재 캠퍼스에 대해서 정말 세민도 같이 통에 시험이 어렸어.
So the mind is very powerful. Is that your question? Just kidding.
Say that we are okay.
So yeah, it is very powerful because everything that we have in this world, of course, there are things not created by human beings. To naturally form things which we didn't have to make any effort to build them formed by themselves. Those things, of course, are different. But other than that, everything that's created by human beings, like the great house, the house and road, and all the walls, the nucleus, the weapons, everything is the power through the power of the mind. Is all created through the power of the mind. And so when we talk about in a worldly sense, then when we talk when we talk about the power of the mind in terms of the Dharma, then everything that we achieve, like even up to the state of full enlightenment, is through the power of the mind.
Okay. Could Rinpoche please explain the reason for karma or the evidence that we might have for believing in karma? I could understand the reasoning for impermanence, for example, or I could understand the reasoning for relying on a teacher, but what reasons would we have to believe in karma?
Is that it, Andy? No.
progression. 다 렌데는 이치비 그 레딘사원들의 데우틴 용어를 데데 타지도 지비게 난조 셰트예요 말했어. 다디 레텔레데 데우 비게 타지 타왔든지 근데 비게 렌데는 넘제 타지 타왔도 산제 남편주 군에 무슨 주의 또 숨고요랬어. 세상 뒤인도산에 레 상고질 때는 데우틴 중원들 레 간다 난주 직피게 용대학이 동네 직 다가는 신이 직피게 용대학이 대화 디도 나서 용대가 어려웠어. 다디 경험 때문에 좋은 배진기 말했어. 제가 다 규제지 거치 그러왔어. 다 규제지 요리나 다 디톤에 대신 결투에 리지오리 대신 겸무도에 리지오리스. 다세 디톤에 대신 겸무도에 리티 다 세로만나서 니주 총원직 시조 지그데 마도지기시 경험 때문에 용요 말했어. 규미 때문에 용신 말았어. 아니 제가 뒤인도선에다 렌데지 심어주는 때문에 요하요 말했어. 아니 지금 저한테는 밀루치 시험을 제수 빠바니스 중요했어. 제가 뒤에 상해 좀 되게 되게 피게 대시 밀루 아니 지금 피게 차시 타고 순대버티 안 로메로 이들자니 아니 지금 피게 야제 되게 피게 레전드 남셔로 소버티 안주 이 지게 토버지 연구요랬어.
So when we're talking about the karma in this detailed form, then it's really difficult to say. So okay, you created this karma to have this kind of experience, or that kind of karma for that experience, and so forth. To say every detail of that is very difficult. Only it's the only object of knowledge, of the Buddhas. But whatever we experience in our life here, sometimes happiness and sometimes suffering that we experience in our life, it is not something that came without cause and condition. Right? It's not it didn't come with a birth. By birth, it didn't come with a birth, and it was not, it will not come without cause and condition. So there is a cause and conditions. So there are certain happiness and suffering that we experience that we can see there is a cause of that. But then there are certain ones that we cannot see the reason why we are experiencing that. So that is very difficult to see because the cause that we've created for that might not be visible in that lifetime. Yeah. So just like when Buddha explained about the Four Noble Truths, so that says the Four Noble Truths is infallible, and it's not controvertible, infallible, and so by reasoning those who can believe in the action, that's the cause of our experience that we go through and believe in that way only.
Hello. Thank you, Rinpoche, for your question. So what my question is basically, I've been having issues with dealing with how to reconcile having love in the context of the realization of emptiness. If our love is empty, if we love ultimately from a place of emptiness, then how can our love be full?
나도 잠바 구매를 뭐지? 잠바 구매해야 돼. 잠바 구매해야 돼. 다치단 잠바 끼야 간데 팀 코란 테스트 동료로 삼당도 테스트 가고 도서 잠바 끼야 돼. 잠바 끼야다 잠바 구매하기. 구매해야 동료로 삼당은 테스트 가고 도서. 그래서 먼저 잠바 구매해야 돼. 때네 가서 동바 인바이나 잠바 구매하고 저라. 잠바 끼야다 잠바 구매해야 돼. 동바 인바이나 아니 잠바 차상 가는 게 더 그랬어.
잠바 구매해야 돼.
다 잠바 구매해야 돼. 동바 인바이나 근데 잠바 차상으로 가는 게 그랬어. 잠바 타치면 가는 게 그랬어.
잠바
타치면 가지.
타치면 잠바 없애 미과 쓰고라 하래.
Are you talking about the object of love or the love itself?
Love itself.
잠바 호랑 쓰고 그런 거지. 잠바 호랑 동바 인바이나 너 잠바 타치면 가는 게 그랬어.
아래. 잠바 호랑 딱 동바 쓰는 거라 라문이 줄 동바 쓰요레스. 거다 거다 비기 나란주 비치피게 통하는 신기 와 잠베니 주디 나란주 비게 루도 차와다 나란주 비게 남주를 요번은 신기 거의 단지 처리요 말하면도 지기 지단기 매버를 숨겨 말했어.
So when we talk about the love being empty, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It just means that it does not exist, from its own side. It does not exist like it appears to us.
아니 잠바코라 검세 잠바 공바 채워라 잠바 검세 미베 시심제 고도 왔어. 맞아지 시심제 미베지 매버를 잠바 거쇼래 슈모토 무슨에면도 라문에 고토토야지 개미도 왔어. 제가 뒤 비전에 거에 就是推着我自己他那写不多是。
And so, like when you talk about the love, in a sense, being empty is empty of existence from its own side. So love cannot be generated by itself. You have to have somebody to generate love on. So without that person or the being, you cannot generate the love, right? So the love has to depend on something. So therefore, it is empty of independent love.
这个电影就顶这样就刚刚有那个多一些的就那个生活当想这个的是，我想把它引进上书，要想来这个的是。
So if you have that problem or the issue with reconciling the love with the emptiness, then don't think about the emptiness for the time being. Just work on the love.
Since I'm sorry.
All phenomena are dependently arisen. Why would we prefer some and avoid others? Is that not the fundamental ignorance itself? So shouldn't we have a view of equanimity toward all phenomena, whether positive or negative?
No. 강제 최탐제 도저 있나? 아니 나서 가셔 최가셔 가야단 최가셔를 먹어야 제대 가지는 거래스. 나서 최상물한테 제가 당용 샤주 샤고 말해봤어. 그래서 최탐제 도저 있나? 안 최가셔 가야단 최가셔 먹어야 뭐라면서 다서 소소 가야다 먹어야 되는 거라. 근데 가진 지고 그랬어.
땡아는 죽여야 study.
Yeah, that's our problem.
Study never.
So, like, even though the things are a dependent reason from their side, but from our side, we see something as we like and something as we don't like. That's our problem. So that's what we have to work on, not having that.
But yes, but isn't the solution equanimity, not to pick one rather than the other?
And that being also, take it solution. Solution salam 서다 녀녀 때라 다 대가 강해져 다 대가 사기 다 탑시서라 강해 사기 탑시디 다 참마라 당님 관도 말해봤어 참마 당님 찍고 다 말해봤어
되더라와.
Yeah, that is the solution.
그냥 랜드 도왔다.
So you already got the answer.
자, 제가 맵다. 뭐다 도대체? 저 동반 일이시다. 동반이 되어오스다.
사지 푸티슈신 에조감 리바링신 일레겐바데 상예진두 미테우아기 드로본 남방신 라츠파쇼 제손 라메 쿠체 랍텐칭 남카트린 레초추 예파당 로상텐 대전 메사숭기 드로웨 문셀 타투네규오칙 이담 구루 라트나만다라탐 니야타야미
You read the Tibetan. Follow, okay, you read Tibetan. It's page 39. Lam-rim pray.
Maybe Dr. Perry. Lam-rim Perry?
Page 39.
Page 39, Lam-rim pray.
Lo sang drag pe